Hello adventurers and welcome back to the fourth episode of the Aquatic Adventure Let's Dev series. Today we will be looking at what has changed since last time in the Aquatic Adventure Nebula version. If you don't know what Nebula is, it's basically a new version of the game that is going to be built from the bottom up all over again, which will increase its performance and just make it a little easier for us to develop. If you want a full in-depth explanation on what it is, we recommend checking out our blog. Links in the description. Last time on the dev series we had a look at some slight changes to the visuals and gameplay, and also some larger things such as optimization, rendering and the new saving and loading system. We also promised you guys last time that we would have a look at the building system and some new creatures. Well, today we bring you exactly that. Today we will look at the new foundation for the building system, new creatures, new vegetation and other slight changes and additions. Also, before we begin today's episode, we want to say, in case you haven't seen our latest video, that this video was supposed to come out last weekend. Well, that didn't happen. Instead, we entered into a game jam, the G2 Game Jam 9 to be precise. There we submitted our latest game called Eblion, that is an adventure platformer with 4 hard and unique levels. We won't talk about it any longer here, for this is a channel completely dedicated to aquatic adventure, but if you're interested in checking it out, we'll leave a link in the description for you. But with all that said, let's jump into the absolute monster of an update we have here to show you. So, first off, let's start with the most obvious and probably exciting feature today. New creatures! This is an absolute delight to see, because before in this version everything was just sand, stone and seaweed. It's nice to see some life added. These creatures include the common clownfish and its black variants, the blue tang, the yellow tang, the pufferfish, the jellyfish and the sea turtle. All of these are completely unique and we hope you all like them. Let's start with the clownfish. The clownfish is a really common fish, actually the most common at this moment in time. You can find it almost anywhere where there is seaweed and vegetation. The black variant is a little rare though, being 10 times rarer than the common variant. The clownfish AI is quite simple yet very effective. Usually it just swims about and minds its own business, but if you get too close, it will try to swim away from you. There is actually a lot more to the clownfish behaviour still, but it will be revealed later on in the video because it concerns the new bits of vegetation. Moving on from the clownfish, the yellow tang and the blue tang are still waiting to be introduced. The yellow tang and the blue tang actually share the same AI, and have the exact same functionality as the clownfish apart from the unreal behaviour. These fish even share the same rarity. They are just basically retextured versions of each other. But just seeing these two reeds in the sea swimming together just gives a sense of life the ocean did not have before. Going on to the fifth creature on our list, introducing the pufferfish. Again, the pufferfish is not much different from other fish having the same AI and all that, but it has one piece of personality that other fish don't have. If you get too close, the pufferfish will freak out, extending all of its spikes and puffing up like a giant beach ball. Once puffed up though, it will remain like that and spin around for an incredibly long time. Next up we have the strange and interesting jellyfish. This creature is actually a little different from other breeds, mainly because it doesn't have the same AI or personality that other fish do. Instead, it prefers to go up and down, not left or right. Whenever the bell of a jellyfish moves, just like its real life counterpart, it propels itself upwards and it will float back down slowly. Unfortunately, you can't jump on this jellyfish's bell like in the classic version, but we're sure we'll be able to find a way to implement that. Last on our list, but certainly not least, we have the sea turtle. This creature is also different from others since it does not share the same AI. Currently, this creature prefers to travel in one solid direction. It does not change its direction or anything, but this is definitely subject to change. Apart from its rather boring movements, there is one interesting thing about the sea turtle. It is the first ever creature in the game to ever be able to eat. Yes, that's right, when the sea turtle is on the move and exploring, it will sometimes bump into some seagrass. When this happens, the sea turtle will actually eat the seagrass with a cute little animation. After its meal though, it will then move on to search for some more food to devour. If all the seagrass from your underwater farm has disappeared, you know who to blame. Okay, so now that we've looked at the creatures of the game, let's look at the other wildlife that lies on the seabed. Vegetation. The game currently has 4 types of vegetation, the first being seaweed, which you have seen in the past 2 episodes. Then there is the seagrass, which we also showed with the turtle. The other remaining 2 though have never been seen before. The first being the kelp bush, and the second being the part plant, part animal, sea anemone. Currently, all the three we named first don't actually have any functionality as of now, but this will be changed in the near future as more features are introduced. However, the sea anemone does actually have functionality. Let's have a look at that. So first off, let's start by asking a few questions. Where and how do I find a sea anemone? Sea anemones are quite common, though not as common as kelp and the other vegetation, so you will have to adventure out a little more than usual. Once found though, it will have been well worth the effort. First of all, you are greeted by a vibrant splash of colour. Currently we have coded for sea anemone to always have a random colour. This way you should always have some new colours to discover, and you will never be able to find two that are the same. Some colours are more vibrant than others, and some can be quite dark. Now, let's talk about the anemone's functionality. Remember before when we said that the clownfish still had some hidden functionality? Well, here it is. Once you have found a sea anemone, you will always be greeted by a total of 2 to 4 clownfish. Basically, it kind of acts like a clownfish home, just like in real life when they live in a symbiotic relationship. But that's not all. This plant/animal has still one feature up its sleeve. If you get lucky, you may be able to find one where a clownfish has laid its eggs into. That is correct, we will now introduce you to a new feature that has never been implemented before. Hatching eggs. So now while we're talking about the hatching mechanic, we may as well put on a time lapse concerning the hatching. So, hatching. The feature that allows you to hatch your own fish eggs and study them as they grow. Once again, let's start talking about it with the start of a few questions. How do I get clownfish eggs? Basically, every time you come across a sea anemone, you have a 1 out of 3 chance to get one that has clownfish eggs. This cannot be visibly seen however, so to know if you have eggs or not, you have to do a 20-minute wait. If you still have no fish after the wait, you have to go find another one. This one doesn't and will never have eggs. If you do manage to get one that does have eggs in it, 30 clownfish will spawn from the anemone. Now all you need to do is wait another remaining 45 minutes to watch them grow. It may seem like a long time, but believe me, it is well worth the wait. Just seeing your clownfish grow from stage to stage is just so fascinating and satisfying. Once fully grown, they will act like normal clownfish, and you can then do whatever you want with them. Currently, this hatching mechanism is only available for the clownfish, but don't worry, eventually, before release, every single fish in the game will have a hatching and growing mechanism. So now that we've talked about vegetation, we can now move on to the last thing on our list, the improved building system. Last time when we looked at it, there was a nice little GUI displaying all the building materials, and you could scroll through them as you please. Well, this time we have improved on it, and added more features. Check this out, we still have the same black box here, but a lot of things have changed. For example, look at the huge list of blocks we now have. You can even see what the block is in the left hand corner. So just like last time, you can open and close the GUI by holding the tab key. Then you can scroll through the blocks by using the arrow keys. Let's take a look at the building materials. As you can see here, we have placed down all the current possible building materials. There are currently 33 materials to choose from, and these include sand, sandstone, stone, a whole load of coloured concrete, steel, gold, copper, cobalt, aluminium, obsidian, basalt, olivine, amethyst, topaz, and aquamarine. Each one of these blocks has its own unique and special texture that can be used for building really cool and complex things. And speaking of building complex things, the building grid has also been revamped. Now when you build, you can now use the new 16 by 16 grid, which means you can build double the complex and compact things you could have built in the older version. Now we are really running out of time since this has been such a long episode. This was actually recorded in a 2-day time period, but we will try to finish up as quick as we can. So the last feature of today is to do with the building system, but it has never been seen before. We have added flying to the game. This means with a new grid and blocks, and this flying, you can build huge things that couldn't have been done before. Like this huge... Okay, now that the episode is finally over, let's have a look at what's to come. For next time, we don't think you can expect too many features from us, because once again, a lot of optimization is needed for the game, since we added so many features. That doesn't mean that there won't be anything new though. For next time, we are planning to show you a feature that has been concepted for years, but never actually implemented, but we can't really promise anything, so we ain't saying nothing. Thank you so much for watching the 4th episode of our Aquatic Adventure Nebula series. What did you think? Were the fish cool? And what about the building system? What features would you like to see next? Let us know in the comments down below, and as always, see you next time.